I am war. Help me kill. All you have to do is do nothing.
Hello everyone, this is Revolution and we are directly competing for the FIFA World Cup, the FIFA as it's known in many parts of America. Red Droga is advising that soon go outside and watch the World Cup. Don't do that. Stay right here. Don't do that. We need to talk about which presidents are best and worst. So we're doing March Madness brackets. I'm not actually sure how many people are actually familiar with the concept. I assume that brackets was just as famous as tier lists, but when I talked to Sant about it, I became concerned that was not true. So brackets are these things where everyone goes in a head-to-head. It's like the World Cup. I should have said the President's World Cup. It's a single elimination, James Madison versus James Monroe, Jimmy Carter versus Calvin Coolidge, and then the winner of that until we have the greatest president ever. What were you going to say, Quinn?
Well, I'm thinking we still have to discuss with the chat how we're evaluating what counts as the best and worst.
Yeah, that's the question I was going to go on to. So, unlike we're not doing the worst president, we are doing in some sense the best president. But of course, we're woke, we're leftists, we hate America, we hate the flag. So how do we evaluate things? I think I'm going to evaluate them on the basis of kind of just who is the best for the United States broadly conceived. So taking quite a normie, imperialist, academic kind of line. But I don't know about you two.
I'm kind of leaning towards effective but also aura. Like real presence. I think we gotta extra points for doing it in a fun, cool way.
The most based president.
Penmanship counts.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree with that outlook, though. Since I'm old, I was thinking about it in terms of legacy, right? Mm-hmm. Who do we even bother thinking about? Whose choices, decisions, policies, aura actually echoes, reverberates to this day, as opposed to you don't even have to reach that far back, like the Gerald Fords of it all, right?
Yeah, so notably, I've excluded, for leftist reasons, Lincoln, Grant, and FDR, believing that those would otherwise clearly win. And I think of the remaining 32, there isn't an obvious option.
I mean, I have actually, never mind. I was going to say some bad stuff, but it's not even relevant.
That took us down to 42. So I then excluded all the presidents who died before 3 years into their presidency, which means no JFK. JFK
who also sucks.
Yeah. I mean, he's not very good. People, I mean, maybe a very auriful president, but not someone who ever actually did anything much.
Mm-hmm. And someone who leftists like to be oh yeah, he wasn't. He was not. He was very anti-communist. He was hostile to leftist projects. He was an alcoholic philanderer who, the only reason that he's remembered positively is because he died in office in a very spectacular way.
Son of an actual gangster.
Yes.
Catholic.
I think you meant papist.
And also all the ones who were not elected of their own accord, were not elected by the American people. So all the vice presidents who then got in after someone was shot or otherwise died of influenza or whatever they were dying of in the 1800s. and then didn't then themselves win a presidency. So of course Johnson is here because he
Actually won.
Yeah, he won after he became vice president. Any more preamble, fellows?
Bonus points if you can equate a president to one of the World Cup teams that was recently eliminated.
People are already saying in chat that Andrew Jackson is the worst president, but I'm expecting like a top 4 performance for him at least.
Yeah. There's I guess extra points for musical connection. There's a great band called Andrew Jackson Jihad.
That is true.
And like aura points. He's gonna slide on aura.
I was trying to listen to Andrew Jackson Jihad recently, like yesterday, the day before, and I was like, damn, I think this is what this sounded like to everyone else when I was playing it in like 2014.
It's like trying to show someone like the front bottoms and be like, hey guys, I swear it's good.
Okay, for our first matchup, we have some very uninspiring figures who probably a lot of people, especially if they aren't American, have not heard of. James Madison, who did the War of 1812, versus James Monroe, who did the Monroe Doctrine, among other things. James
I will
Madison was a founding.
Monroe, yeah, they're both founding fathers.
Yeah.
Monroe,
How did you pick the seeds?
Randomized.
All right, randomized seeds.
Randomized seeds. I'm going to give everyone a fair chance. Without
Monroe gets extra points because I think he inaugurated the era of good feelings, which is a fun name.
I was going to say, because is the era of good feeling actually good or is it bad? Like,
well, it was fun. It was like it was generally positive vibes. If I remember right, it was just like a little bit of not very much conflict and just people doing pretty well.
The other question is that we were discussing before the show: does the stuff before they became president count? Because Madison did the Bill of Rights, which is really, but I'm not counting that personally.
I think we got to do just presidency, right?
Yeah.
However, let's not pretend that the aura Riz category doesn't capture some of that pre-presidential greatness.
But then I would say like that is like kind of what gets you elected, right? Hopefully. So if we're talking about legacy, then obviously Monroe has the Monroe Doctrine, which still goes on to today, while James Madison is like, I don't know, like a minor character in the Hamilton play.
I feel as though there's a very simple game ender for this particular head-to-head, which is there's been one president that had to flee Washington, D.C. ahead of the White House getting burned down. And that is pathetic little Jamie Madison, right? Who
he was the one who actually fought the British, though, right? Before that, France, they had their revolution. And
I think the Brits called him Little Jimmy. Right?
No, the British beat his ass, and then like the only battle we won was the Battle of New Orleans, which happened after the war was ended.
Well,
the only one after it didn't matter.
Well, also it was made.
Yeah, it's like the England-France game from yesterday. Congratulations on those 6 goals, you bozos! Couldn't have pulled that off against Argentina.
But, Jackson was there winning New Orleans following aura, as we'll soon see.
Also, great song that came out of it, years later, but still counts.
Yeah, we're talking about...
We're big on songs here, as we noted last week.
Yeah.
We're talking about Burn the White House Down, right?
I was thinking of the Battle of New Orleans, the song.
Yeah. No, our Canadian version is much better.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
So I take it that we're moving forward with
Monroe.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Okay, let me make sure I can actually do this properly. Submit. Okay, brilliant. Everything works fine.
And the score is 18-12-0.
Up next, we've got a weird one. We've got Coolidge versus Jimmy Carter. Can anyone remember what Coolidge did? He was a 1920s
Corruption.
guy, right?
He was one of the Great Depression interwar presidents.
Yeah.
Coolidge, Harding, Hoover, right? That was the after Wilson.
Yeah.
More government conservative.
He is famous for the expression "the business of America is business," which honestly is kind of based. But apart from that, he was mostly known for being an inscrutable, bureaucratic gray blur and being boring as fuck.
Oh, he gave citizenship to Native Americans.
Huh.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's almost certainly something to do with screwing them out of treaty land, right?
He was apparently woke on race, but yeah, was just laissez-faire generally.
And let's face it, he's not going to outwoke Jimmy Carter.
No, and that's the other question, right? That like, how much do we give people for like the time they were doing shit in, right? Like, I'm not going to get mad at like John Quincy Adams because he didn't pass Medicare. But as we advance year by year, I might get more disrespecting my president because they did not pass Medicare.
Yeah, I mean, Carter's kind of a like didn't do that much.
Beautiful failure.
Yeah, and the things that he was effective at was like okay, the CIA to do. Yeah.
Which, like, I think if we're going off last week, we don't respect losers around here.
No, I think Coolidge clears.
Yeah. I don't know, man, because there's the Riz element, right? And there is a Jimmy Carter do-gooder legacy. Whereas the most famous cultural contribution of Calvin Coolidge is an expression which douchebags use to justify their guerrilla grind set and using multi-level marketing to screw old people out of supplement money.
I just want to eliminate Carter in the first round so we don't give anyone any hope. Any Carter stands out there, but
okay, I know what the score is.
Farm?
The score is the vote count.
Yeah.
So Coolidge advances 2-1 because Carter's got my vote.
All right.
2 for Carter. Oh no, sorry, I just nearly gave it to Jimmy Carter's by what I said. Next up is hilarious matchup. One of the funniest of the first round. George Washington versus Joe Biden.
I mean, this is not a contest, right?
Yeah, we were all there for Joe Biden's second term.
I mean, I think
just like
Washington really helps us get to the question of like, what are we assessing here? Because if we're assessing like a good president for the United States, then George Washington might just win the whole thing.
I mean, yeah, he also kind of set the like terms, right? He set the guardrails on what is like considered good. He also was the first one to be like, hey, you know those term limits that like aren't really enforceable at all? I'm gonna respect those. I'm gonna stand down and then like peer pressure my like fucking greedy asshole friends to all do the same thing.
I mean, he's the president that's most like a random, like cool Roman emperor.
Yeah.
The Vespasian of America.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because they're all like weeaboos for Rome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, imagine how cringe early America would have been if you were a Roman actually showing up from the like Cato the Elder Punic War period, and you're like,
what the fuck are these guys doing?
what the fuck are these guys doing? Their slavery is cool though.
I mean, yeah, sure they have slaves, but like, where are their
where are the men?
young boy concubines?
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been serenaded by a liar ever since I got here.
Yeah, like, where are the parties? What is Protestantism? I don't like it. Who the fuck is Jesus?
Who the fuck is Jesus?
Wait, I thought we had killed him. I thought we had settled this.
Okay, I mean, it's Washington every day, right?
Yeah,
it's Washington every day.
Right. Next up, Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan versus Richard Nixon.
And I think in terms of impact and aura, Reagan has to take it because he had landslide numbers based purely on just his fucking riz.
Not only that, but he got away with his corruption.
Yeah. He got away with like being just as senile as Biden in office.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah, and he got away like Richard Nixon gets tanked on illegal campaign contributions.
Yeah, also like
Reagan
Nixon
posts on illegal arms sales to Iran.
Yep. Nixon, I also think, gets a bad rap because he was set up by the CIA.
Nixon is a guy that like Nazis make aura edits of, which means he doesn't have aura.
Yeah, he doesn't have aura. Also, like, it's weird that he has the weirdest fan base because I think that like he is just the kind of cynical politician that will do anything. Like that's why he can go to China and normalize relations. That's also why he does like a pretty significant crackdown on the intelligence services. That probably is the thing that led to his, getting set up by CIA contractors breaking into the Watergate, and then breaking in a second time to be more obvious that they're breaking in.
Yeah, personally, like a really weird guy, but also was kind of the height of like intervention to the U.S. economy. Like he was doing like price controls and shit. While Reagan was the one who like
EPA.
Reagan led us into the world that we live in now, which you
sucks.
Can judge how you feel about that.
Reagan, I have more like hate in my heart for.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you're like a nuclear weapons American.
No.
Not a finance American. Let's face it, right? Like Ronald Reagan's New World was a pretty awesome one for a lot of the right kind of U.S. citizen, eh?
Right, I mean, it's the same thing as Thatcher.
Exactly the same thing as Thatcher.
For me, Nixon moves on. I don't know about what you two are about now.
I mean, yeah, no, I think Nixon is, in my opinion, a better president, but I think there's a chance that just the sheer force of will and aura of Reagan takes him over the top for me.
For me, it comes down to the very simple loser versus not loser calculation. And Ronald Reagan buried the Soviet Union. Richard Nixon couldn't even end the war in Vietnam. Like he did a genocide just to get the shitty outcome that he gotten on day one.
He killed like 100,000 people and didn't
precisely. Reagan gets away with his corruption and senility, while Nixon gets, was 5 minutes away from getting perp walked out through the Rose Garden. So Reagan.
Why is Political Economy 101 is in chat just making up presidents. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, he's asking you about Thomas McKean and Sam Houston. Are these jokes? If so, I don't understand them.
Are they the presidents of the Republic of Texas? I mean, Houston was, but
maybe. I take it that Reagan's moving on. That you two have outvoted me there.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Another funny.
You had me at American Thatcher.
Thomas Jefferson versus George W. Bush. Thomas Jefferson, I think, has suffered a lot in public opinion lately after we learned that he fucked slaves and had like black kids, which he didn't, which he just left in slavery and stuff.
Yeah.
As he bought Louisiana, he fought pirates. He just kind of hung out with France and Britain and made nice treaties with them. He didn't go to war. Yeah. George W. Bush, really fucking bad. Like the worst.
Really fucking bad.
Really fucking bad.
If we're in a worst president's bracket, I think George Washington is top 4 for me, despite the fact that we have like the slavery guys in the 1850s.
Yeah, I mean, Bush does have like some really weirdly charming. I think especially in person, like I have acquaintances that like met him once and were like, even though I fucking hate the guy, like, damn, he's fucking charming. But yeah, I mean, like 1 million Iraqis dead, hundreds of thousands in the rest of the Middle East.
Like even on like American nationalist perspective, he's the guy that like locked the US into like permanent debt shit.
Yeah.
Like, there was like plans to like not do that, and then just since then it's just been infinite billions of dollars.
Also,
which obviously the US doesn't really matter, but
also let's not forget that if you're thinking about somebody like Richard Nixon, he comes in and the shit sandwich has been already made and placed in front of him, right? He has to deal with Vietnam, economic conditions are suboptimal. It's a challenging situation to come in. George W. Bush enters presidency playing on fucking easy mode, right? He basically gets a tutorial level where he has surplus budgets. That's insane. That never happens. He has all the good feelings of the post-Cold War order. America is on the highest peak possibly in its history, certainly since the end of World War II. And what does he do? Holy shit, right? Like the delta between where he comes in and where he leaves it, breathtaking. Possibly one of the worst presidents. Before Trump too, he would have been worse than Trump. So loser.
I think there's still an argument. It's really hard to say because Trump 2 is like fucking atrocious, but like I think it's still a conversation based on like who's really the worst between those two.
Yeah, he mogs Trump 1 and badness. So I guess we can talk about Jefferson's legacy more in the next round and just very easily put him through again.
Yeah. It's the inverse of getting stacked up against George Washington, right? Like basically anybody wins against George W.
And he just gave him 4 points there. Next up, we've got Andrew Jackson versus Grover Cleveland. I was thinking that Andrew Jackson it reminds me of that joke about like how the Romans, the Greeks invented sex and the Romans realized you could do it with women. Like the founding fathers invented democracy, and then Andrew Jackson realized you could do it with the people. Andrew Jackson, also the guy of any US president who has the most bodies, like not in the sense of like war stuff or like social murder or ordering wars, but guys get like he just killed people. Like he got into duels. He was out here killing people. Like the King Von clip that I put in our Facebook chat. And then
really quick,
yeah,
Political Economy 101. We excluded a bunch of presidents. We're not even going to count the stuff that happened before the United States was like the United States. Come on.
Yeah, people are asking.
Yeah, McCain was president of Delaware.
We've got 32 slots on this thing, and people are like, "There's 45 presidents, there's 32 slots." People are asking, like, "Are we not including the Confederate presidents?"
But I have a favorite vice president.
US presidents.
Where's the Cabo Verde president?
Okay, we can get back to
Grover Cleveland. What the fuck did he do?
Cleveland.
The Dawes Act.
He's a big tariff guy, if I remember right. He was big in the reform movement, which was like, hey guys, we're gonna change things in government, so you should vote for our patronage system instead of the other guys.
Wow.
Which great. I'm sure they had like important opinions on like specie currency or whatever. Like,
yeah, fuck off. Go back to Iowa, Ohio, wherever the Cleveland is.
Well, how many aura points do you lose, or perhaps you even gain them, if you win the popular vote but you lose the presidency?
I don't really care, because it is like you get aura points for winning, but then you get aura points lost for losing.
Yeah, it works out neutral probably.
Cleveland, if I remember right, had a non-sequential term.
Oh yeah, he was. He was re-elected in 1892,
which is like
him and Trump.
Like cool, I guess. Like that's a fun trivia
factoid. Yeah. You'll need it for bar night.
Yeah.
Annex Hawaii.
Well, that's not nothing.
Yeah.
We should mention that Andrew Jackson is mainly known among leftists for his jihad against the Cherokee.
Yeah. I mean, just a fucking disgraceful, horrible person, as are most of these people.
And honestly, the one place where I see Cleveland having an advantage is if we consider their territorial acquisitions, or rather the states that they're kind of responsible for. Hawaii versus Florida, right? One is a beautiful paradisical bit of Pacific Island vacation utopia, as well as a strategic outlet towards Asia. And the other is fucking Florida.
Yeah, I mean,
worse back then. It was even
like,
yeah, and he could have just let the Cherokee keep it, right?
Yeah, if you read, it's a little out of date at that point, but like if you read Cabeza de Vaca's account of like the Narvaez expedition, Florida sounds like I don't want to be like glib or make exaggeratory statements, but it sounds kind of close to hell. Like just horrible, terrible.
Like, oh yeah, all swamp.
Swamp, or like worse than swamp. Some cannibals, some not really cannibals, but unwilling to help you.
Yeah. Also, welcome back to the food chain, right? You are no longer on the top.
I would say that, as Droger has pointed out in chat, during Jackson's presidency, there was a nullification crisis where South Carolina tried to do a dress rehearsal for the Civil War. And we're like, oh, we're going to secede. We don't like tariffs. So Andrew Jackson was just like, yeah, I'm going to send the Navy.
Have fun with that.
And just like, we're going to get you. Like,
you in what army, bitch?
And like the next 20 years after Jackson was left the presidency was known as the Jacksonian era.
He also like big balls the Supreme Court. It was like, you in what army again? Like, come and take it. You think you can overturn me? Let's see you enforce it.
Also, he's on money.
He's on money, which helps too.
Yeah. I think if we're going aura and legacy, Jackson doesn't just win this, but like goes unless he gets a really hard matchup to like top 4 at least.
Yeah.
Probably the most should president. One of the most should presidents. Probably one of the most jock presidents.
Yes. and an enduring proof that you can actually just like the norms and even some of the laws can just be ignored.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be very useful if we ever got some kind of progressive in the executive branch.
Speaking of ignoring laws, up next is Donald Trump.
I mean, Harrison is like a nothing burger.
Benjamin Harrison. He was before Grover Cleveland. What did he do? Probably none of us can say.
Yeah, I gotta look it up.
Oh, he was in the American Civil War. It's just how did they spend like all their presidencies doing tariffs, like 20 presidents in a row? Surely at some point they'd like done the tariffs. Like, how are they just continuing to do the tariffs all the time? Federal spending reached $1 billion under Benjamin Harrison for the first time, which seems like a crazy amount back then.
Yeah, it must be contemporary numbers. It can't be 19th century money.
Yeah, it surely is true. Created national forests,
but not national parks.
Not national parks. That was someone else.
So for me, the question here, Benjamin Harris feels almost such zero that you calibrate off of him, right?
Yeah.
Like literally the nothing president. The most nothing president there is. So
the
question is,
it's like, oh, the Navy, tariffs, and that's on like 40 other presidents' Wikipedias. That's all I've been reading today.
So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, do negative numbers exist?
Yes.
Because if so, then he's the winner. And it's not even close.
It depends on how you store the data set, right? Because if it's just as an integer and we're taking negative points, it actually loops around, and you get that the what is it, the Stack Overflow, and he actually gets billions of points. But I think that we've got maybe some protections against that.
Yeah, I honestly have difficulty allowing Benjamin Harris to progress. He really feels like he should be eliminated in group. You know, like Albania should advance ahead of Benjamin Harrison. However, Donald Trump, my God, like the Iran war alone. And it would be one thing too if his policies were so destructive, but like Thatcher and Reagan, he maintained a high level of, like landslide popularity. But everyone hates his ass. We get to have Comrade Bill Kristol thanks to Donald Trump. And the mega set is dwindling to deformities of nature and the ugliest, most Morlockized elements.
The great ally of the electoral success of the Democratic Socialists of America.
Yeah. Like, I think it's too soon to give him points for anybody but Mamdani. But yeah. Like, I have to give it to Harrison.
I think I would. I'll give a.
You're going to be the
for
dissent.
Donald Trump. I'll be the dissent there, just because, like, Harrison is nothing, and Trump is, even though he is kind of a failure in every imaginable way at this point, there is like I think he is kind of a good figurehead for what America is now.
He will be very helpful for future historians that need to characterize this period.
He is like, he's an even better, figurehead of like what America is than Tony Soprano was. Like Tony Soprano was America, a violent, murderous sociopath who goes to therapy to learn the language in order to tell himself a story that makes him feel better about himself.
It's kind of a bad dad, but not the worst.
Not the worst. Just like struggling to put on a face enough to, like, you know, not destroy all of the people around him, just some of them. And like a hypocrite, a degenerate gambler who, you know, pretends to like look down on other gamblers. Just a hypocrite, a hypocrisy, a failure, who wallows in his own bullshit.
He does carry out some of his own murders.
Exactly. He does some of his own hits. He he's at least has some kind of like charm and like some level of introspection, which I think Trump is just completely past.
How many goals do you think, how many shots do you think there's been in the World Cup game since we started?
0.
4?
1.
Yeah.
1 off-target shot from Spain.
Wonderful.
Next up, we've got Woodrow Wilson versus John Tyler. John Tyler was the one where I was like, shit, I accidentally put someone on here who's not president. That much of a non-entity. I was worried I fucked up. But John Tyler's actually really bad. He was probably like the most pro kind of Confederate in the idea of the Confederate States of all the US presidents, like more than Buchanan, who was kind of just like a cook. John Tyler like actively supported states' rights. John Tyler
oh my god,
Jackson, the nullification crisis.
They're actually the same guy, because both of them believe in self-determination, but only for white people.
Very true. Woodrow Wilson, on the other hand, invented Poland, as well as a large.
That's unfair. He got an assist from Lord Curzon.
Woodrow Wilson, I believe, has a bad reputation among leftists these days. But for me, I think Woodrow Wilson is like quite a good president, really. I think self-determination, even if it's only for white people, is quite a good idea. In terms of, I think he had a significant influence in sundowning like imperialism and so on. He was also probably, I think, like a massive racist and stuff. But you know, we're talking about US presidents here, so
yeah. I mean, I think if we're discounting all of the massive racists out of this list, we'd have a very small list.
Yeah, and he's up against Tyler, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm easily this is Wilson.
I'm willing to give it to Wilson.
Cool. Yeah, and we can discuss Wilson's legacy more when he's got a more significant opponent, which will not be happening in the next round, where he's up against Benjamin Harrison.
Oh, poor Harrison.
Next up is a weird one.
Oh shit!
Roosevelt versus Barack Obama.
Shit! Why isn't this the final?
Yeah, this is also these are two awful guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Massive aura points.
It's like the president who most pretended to be a chud when he was actually secretly kind of like a nerd at heart.
Yeah, but like it worked. Also, like he got shot a bunch of times.
Yeah.
What did he get? Like 7 times and then made a speech?
Yeah.
Of presidents.
Yeah, like Teddy Roosevelt. There's no way to deny that he was an impressive man, right? Like putting aside the office entirely. Yeah, he had Riz, he had aura, he also willed it into being, right? Like he had to work for all of that shit, even though he was a little fancy boy, right? Like he managed to somehow be a New York State rich as God princeling, yet also have the guerrilla grind set to get over his early childhood lung capacity defect or whatever his laudanum and consumption debuff was for those times. But like
Jason
Obama
is a hater of Roosevelt, but I would say I think he was like really good on like trusts and shit, a lot better than Obama.
Yeah, I mean Obama. What a great campaigner. One of the, I think if we're just going off like charisma, one of the more charismatic like politicians of all time. Globally.
And somehow, you know, it's easy to be that level inspiring if you're an out and out fascist freak.
Mm-hmm.
Obama, I don't want to give him too much credit for this because he took it back in his post-presidency. But when you think about the standard that George Washington put, where you're not going to use this office to enrich yourself, you're going to do your 2 terms, you're going to walk away, that level of civic virtue, Obama has it more so than virtually any other president of our lifetimes. On top of, you know, first black president, I'll say it. That's not nothing. That's actually quite a not nothing thing.
Well, I guess the question is that, like, does that matter for our assessment of them as a president as opposed to something significant happening like in America?
So for me, the question was really settled by user -CF3CM5BT5V. Roosevelt was a filthy imperial swine, a fabulist, and a freak. He was, however, competent at those things, and competence always gets my vote. I'm on Roosevelt's side.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel bad, but like in terms of like effectiveness, I mean, it's hard to say because I think on some level Obama was okay with the like gridlock because he was such a like incrementalist, but also just like in his heart a rules abiding lib who thought that this was great, and also he got all of his like Harvard law buddies cushy jobs after they destroyed the economy.
He was without a doubt cognitively captured through the Ivy League pipeline. Like, I know that pressure firsthand. It is extremely challenging to resist it, especially like I was at the tail end of that period. He would have gotten it pure. And the thing is, Obama, ironically, because he's a smart and capable guy, right? Because he is a man of intelligence, learning, and judgment, he should have known better, and he should have been able to resist it, but he didn't. And he was in the Summers Geithner, right? Jamie Dimon is a pretty savvy guy, bullshit set. So Roosevelt still.
Yeah,
I
think I'm with you. Damn.
Oh, we are getting no. It cannot be 3-0 if we're all white guys, right? I am changing my vote if that's the case. Fuck.
If Jason wanted to vote, he should have come on the show.
Fuck.
I mean, this is also, even if we got all of the black people that are, you know, actually in charge of this podcast, I don't think we had very many votes for Obama. He doesn't have a lot of fanboys in the Central Committee.
Yeah, but they would have taken the opportunity. Somebody would have taken the opportunity to vote against Teddy Roosevelt. After all, you've seen the statue in New York where he is literally being held on a palanquin by all of the imperialized peoples. Grateful.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Martin Van Buren versus Harry S. Truman. Martin Van Buren, probably like the first properly anti-slave president, unless you count John Quincy Adams, who maybe also was. But Van Buren kind of sucked as a president. He didn't achieve a lot. He fucked up like a stock market panic or a financial panic. It was a proper stock market panic because it was 1837. He didn't do anything on the slavery issue. He was just like mad about it. Harry S. Truman, he is probably the most forgettable post-World War II president for me, despite the fact that he served 8 years in the immediate aftermath of World War II. I don't know if you guys have stronger feelings on Truman. I guess he established like anti-communism and stuff, but he probably would have done that anyway. He was a New Deal guy.
He's the only person in human history to have nuked people.
True.
Yeah.
I've been to Hiroshima and I've been to Nagasaki, right? Hiroshima was a tragedy.
What's our views on nuking Japan? 0, once or twice, which was right.
Well, I think it's, you know, it's maybe not surprising, but it is deeply tragic that, like, the only reason that we used a fucking nuclear weapon was to steal, like, the victory from the Soviets so that we could be the one to set up post-war Japan and the Soviets wouldn't have an influence there. Like, Jesus, that's fucking bleak.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on with Truman? That he is the, he's the guy who brought the fire, but has no fire. Like, I'd forgotten that he was the one that nuked Japan.
Then again,
Buren has the cool hair. If I remember, he has like the sideburns and they're just fucking. Ugh!
Yeah. The just like no hair in his head, but then his hair goes like off the sides.
But let's not forget the Dewey defeats Truman headline moment.
Oh yeah, right? That is insane aura.
That's not. Oh, plus, he fired MacArthur's ass.
True.
I got to go with Truman. Although, frankly, you guys with the anti-slavery thing, the Duchess's first language thing, I'm finding a lot to like about Van Buren, but Truman just happened to be in a more globally consequential moment.
I think if Buren had actually achieved anything that he wanted to do while he was president, I'd see him very well, but he didn't, so he's going out first round.
Yeah. All right. I'll give him a pity vote because I like his hair.
So, for the record, Van Buren so far is doing better than Obama, just in terms of score.
Jesus Christ.
Next up, we've got Eisenhower versus McKinley. Eisenhower, obviously a great general in the Second World War. I don't remember anything he did as president.
Interstate highway system.
Ooh. Yeah. Is that evil car culture, or is it based?
It's based.
It's based. Giant. I'm a big fan of giant infrastructure projects, even if they have to use the car.
And let's face it, the railroads weren't getting it done. I blame the rail barons for that, right? Like, also the federal government.
Another reason to hate Leland Stanford. Fuck you, Leland Stanford. You built a nice campus, but you're a bitch. Go Bears.
McKinney was the guy. I'm probably not pronouncing it right. How do you say his name?
McKinley.
He was the guy who did,
oh my god, you're that English? You're so... he's not like Shibishevsky or something.
Oh my god.
Oh. McKinley.
6 equals 1.
Names are so challenging.
He did like physical U.S. empire. He was the guy who annexed Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Guam, Philippines, and Samoa, which even if we kind of are not like, we're kind of assessing America on its own basis, not like from the outside. I think like doing physical empire is not like based American aura. Like I think America established its global empire not through annexation, and just kind of doing the annexation is more like of the non-continental U.S. places is like LARP.
It's also like come on, guys,
you're European empire.
And jumping on the train after it's like, or trying to get on the train after it's already left the station.
Yeah, it's very German empire build, which was
like, come on. And I think Connor makes an excellent point. Getting assassinated, and it not even being that memorable. Like it's one of those presidential assassinations that no one cares about. Negative Riz.
Negative Riz. So we're putting Eisenhower through.
Yeah.
I think Eisenhower
Plus-
was the main guys of like evil empire coups, but as we established, that is more American than what the other one was up to.
Also, even though he was a Republican, he was basically a New Deal good government guy, right?
Yeah.
None of this Reagan-style rollback bullshit.
Next up, we've got Polk versus Daddy Bush.
I mean, Poppy Bush is CIA man through and through. Fucking spook that was so uncharismatic that he couldn't, get a second term.
Read my lips.
He could only outdo Dukakis.
Yeah. James K. Polk, as like a old school politician, has to have some riz. And given that I don't
look
really
at his
care
haircut.
about
He rocks the presidential mullet.
Yeah, someone's saying that he invented the mullet, which, yeah, looking at him, he seems to have done so. I think he had he's got a Norwood 20 over there, but
yeah, I'm willing to give it to him for that alone.
Yeah, I mean, not
Also,
No,
long.
I'm on Poppy Bush. I respect some deep statesmanship.
Mm. He
He was
JFK.
Yeah, maybe kill JFK. But like, come on. I don't think
that was pre-presidency, so it doesn't count.
Pre-presidency, so it doesn't count. Behind the scenes, and somewhat in front of the scenes, made sure that the intelligence community was able to operate basically like they had no lasting consequences from the Senate Select Committee and its aftermath.
Also, only successful Gulf War.
True.
It's true. Jesus. I mean,
Oh, he did NAFTA.
yeah, one of the more effective U.S. presidents of all time, I think.
For a single term,
done
too.
what he done. Yeah.
Yeah, he,
doesn't make it
ironically enough, given that he's like a bonesman from Yale, he was a lunch pail president. He shows up, doesn't do the events, gets shit done, right? Apparently the staff all loved him. He got along well with the deep state rank and file and everything.
Because he has that the proper Yale-y, I have a long list of people I send Christmas cards to. I am, punctual and maintain my personal relationships like it is business.
He is what working class New Yorkers would describe as classy.
Yes.
Obviously, he has my vote, right? I don't know why we're still talking.
Polk was also a one-termer, but he was a declared one-termer. He didn't try and he was declared as one-termer, which I think is obviously a lot more aura than running and losing. But
I mean,
I'm still inclined to go Poppy
electorally Bush. Poppy Bush was just. It's remarkable too, because it's as though the electoral skill set and the governance skill set flipped across generational lines, because Poppy Bush nearly lost to the weird oil gnome H. Ross Perot, right? Just came out of nowhere. And then he did lose to the Arkansas Big Mac enthusiast Bill Clinton, right?
There's quite a good alternative history short series called Shuffling the Deck, which just randomizes the order of the US presidents and then tries to construct a new biography of them from whatever era they were going to be in. And
Barack Obama actually falls right at the beginning, and in there, his catastrophic presidency is what leads to African slavery.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was rigged or if it just happened that way, but yeah, sadly, Obama was not until much further on. I say this because I think Poppy Bush would have really fit into the election of 1812.
I mean, if Poppy Bush were around in those days, then, and, you know, it pains me to even contemplate this, but my beloved Canada would be some Puerto Rico-style territory.
No. I think Poppy Bush was like, I think if he was around, he could have done the business plot. Like, I think he would have, and I think he could have got it done. Okay, he would have put old Prescott to shame.
Oh my God. I think the only reason it would have failed is because he would have had to work with the Kennedys.
One of his stupid sons.
No, he would have had to work with the Kennedys, and he's like, I understand the National Socialist Party and the Germans. They have their legitimate national interests, but I draw the line at collaborating with Irish papists.
That's true. That might have actually been a deal breaker for him.
I didn't realize he sounded like Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro slowed down and decircumcised.
Decircumcised. I think we're putting Poppy through.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got a pretty poor matchup between Hoover and Adams.
I think Hoover gets a rep. I think there are larger global events that were outside of Hoover's control. The Hoovervilles are not really like his creation. I think his record pre-president is that of a nimble and effective strategist in terms of like dealing with international situations, getting U.S. citizens out of harm's way in Europe.
Someone's read the USA trilogy by John Dos Passos.
Okay. We're not here to flex everything that we've read. I just think that, or I guess skimmed parts of. But like Hoover gets a bad rap. He did his best with the like what was at his disposal. And I think that he was willing to kind of bear the cross and be the person that took all the blame so that things could get done. And I think that, I don't know, this is, I guess, my like Catholic sympathies. But like, I respect that.
Adams was also the guy who managed to get into a partial war with France after refusing to pay them their debt, which during the Revolutionary period is not something I respect. Adams,
he's welching.
Massive aura fall off from Washington. Hoover, though, I mean, before Quinn just did some revisionist history, I think is the bad Great Depression man.
But like, yeah, he won at the same time that there was a global recession or a Great Depression. That's not on him really.
But like, we're already at the point where the US is like the largest economy in the world, though, right? Like, I feel as US president, like, you can't just be like, oh no, circumstances have happened to me in 1933. 1931, I guess.
Sure.
Quinn's convinced me. I'm voting Hoover.
Damn. Oh, I'm sorry. to be clear, I'm also voting Hoover. But I'm saying, like, only because it's a really poor matchup.
Because John Adams sucks.
Yeah.
Apparently, he good alcohol.
I don't know that.
He had a hobby as a brewer, and his recipes have been recreated by historical alcohol aficionados.
Isn't the Sam Adams brewery the direct legacy of his brother or cousin or something?
I think so. I want to say his brother, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, the cool Adams brother.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Taft versus John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams was our first woke president, the first one to be opposed to slavery personally. Though again, he didn't do anything about it. Also controversially became president through like a dirty deal, which then led to Jacksonian democracy, which I guess is good, but wasn't his plan. And he started doing like he tried to establish like a national university and like federal roads and stuff, but again didn't really get most of the stuff through Congress. Taft, I don't know. Did you guys know what the fuck Taft did?
Taft ended up as Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
Apart from that, he was extremely fat.
Apparently, a skull and bones man.
Mm-hmm. Also had a giant mustache, which was one of the.
This is sounding like he didn't do a lot policy-wise.
Not that I remember.
What you guys are saying.
Let's see. Yeah, okay. It sounds like he didn't do fucking anything, which is at least John Conjunction has tried. He did some. Well, okay. He gave us the some good stuff on antitrust, but I think that's nerd shit. I don't know how much we care.
Quincy Adams, and I think this is a consideration because it relates directly to his presidency specifically and helps offset what might otherwise be a fatal lack of aura. He cock-blocked Andrew Jackson.
He did. I guess he was the only person, even if it was by a dirty deal, to defeat Andrew Jackson in the field.
Yeah, exactly. And lived to tell the tale, right? Yeah. Died in his sleep, you know? I would have expected there to be a few cane marks on his cranium, but no, he got away with it too.
Yeah, he was the other one. Was it him and Van Buren that went to the House of Representatives, or was it just him and not Van Buren?
In the UK? Or what do you mean?
John Quincy Adams joined the House of Representatives.
He started out as a congressman, you mean?
No, like he stopped being president and he joined the House of Representatives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He was elected. Yeah, he was elected as part of the anti-Masonic party, but I don't know if that was his electoral vehicle. I don't know if he gave a shit about Masons.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I think
and apparently he was dean of the House of Representatives.
Yeah, he tried to get rid of the gag rule, but again, he didn't succeed. So, like, the gag rule was between 1836 and 1844, I think, which banned the discussion of slavery in the U.S. House.
I think I'm ready to vote for Taft over JQA.
I'm ready.
I'm JQA all the way.
I'm JQA.
All right.
Also, let the record indicate that now William Howard Taft has one more vote than Barack Obama.
Okay, we can't do this every time.
We've got Rutherford B. Hayes.
Rutherford
B. Hayes versus James Buchanan. Rutherford B. Hayes, I believe, is the guy who, like, the Republicans lost the presidential election, basically, but were, like, allowed to take the presidency through a dirty deal where they just stopped doing Reconstruction. So that's bad. I don't know if it's his fault. I guess it's his fault for not winning better. Versus Buchanan, who is plausibly the worst president ever, in the sense that he basically just let the Confederacy secede. But not even because he loved them a lot, just because he was kind of cucked and weak. Like, he was sympathetic to slavery, he was sympathetic to their cause and whatever, but was also not like a massive head-banging Southern guy. He was just weak about it.
I think being such a weak conciliator that you oversee the starting of the bloodiest for Americans conflict in the history of the country. I think that just on that alone, you lose. It does like you could be going up against like anyone and you lose.
Yeah. I'm just gonna check if Hayes did anything.
Yeah, it's hard to. He had the facial hair.
Hayes believed in equality for all. His main thing is being known for bringing in troops against the Great Railroad Strike of 1877. It remains the deadliest strike in U.S. history. And then he also made silver money, which is also a big deal back then.
Yeah, boo, bimetallism.
Yeah, I think we can move Hayes along and then discuss him when he goes up against Bill Clinton or whatever.
Yeah, because it's going to be Bill Clinton, isn't it? It's hard to imagine. I don't even know enough about Franklin Pierce to be able to. And I hate Bill Clinton, you know?
I mean, who doesn't?
Aura. Not much else, really. Franklin Pierce is the guy directly before Buchanan, who I think is like actually more sympathetic to the South. Yeah, he supported the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which nullified the Missouri Compromise, which then led to
Civil War
in Kansas, or whatever it's called, bloody Kansas. Was the first guy that tried to annex Cuba, which is a popular theme for U.S. presidents.
Another long legacy of failures. This is easily Clinton.
Yeah, and we'll see how he does later on against some other more severe competition. And that's us finished the first round. I'll now scroll all the way back up to the top. And we can do our round of 16. Though, again, in the second round, we start with a fucking boring one again. It's James Madison versus Calvin Coolidge. I'm back in Madison.
I'm happy with that choice. These again are not like especially like great options, but yeah.
Fuck it, I'll go for Coolidge just to prevent it from being unanimous. This is one of the ones where I deeply don't care. There isn't even a cool underdog story or anything. Yeah. These are the quintessential dead white men that progressive undergraduates complain about.
Next up, we've got George Washington versus Ronald Reagan.
Ooh.
So this is a good one.
Yes. Two American founding fathers. They're both on the
founding father and founding grandfather.
They're important figures in like American Christianity. You've got like the Trinity is Jesus Christ, Ronald Reagan, and George Washington.
This is true.
George Washington, I think, is like an actually good president in many ways, and is one kind of thing. Like he didn't back France, is my only real complaint about him. But that probably would have led to the destruction of America. Which, bad or good, it's up to you.
I would point out that Ronald Reagan's full name is Ronald Wilson Reagan, and if you count the letters,
it's 666. Yes. We all know.
I didn't know that. But then I've never graffitied a triangle on an American piece of currency. So,
no. Ronald Wilson Reagan, the Antichrist that's come to destroy all that is good and holy about.
Jacob Egel said they're both slavers, which I don't think that's true.
I think
maybe it's just a alternative history thing. I think if Ronald Reagan was around in the 1840s, he would have owned a lot of slaves. But
I think this was for the last lineup.
Are we counting Grenada?
I think Ronald Reagan would have loved to try to bring in slaves to California if he was from the 1850s.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about California is that like it didn't have slavery, but also it was great because slavery was illegal, but through some nice legal trickery, you had to bring the slaver to court, and the only people who were allowed to testify were white people. So slavery was, de facto legal, even though it was de jure illegal.
I thought you were going to say that because they put through the indigenous people through like apprenticeships.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could enslave indigenous and Asian imports, but it was through a fun legal loophole of no, you're not actually allowed to talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's George Washington for me.
Yeah, Washington.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for Reagan.
Jonathan Swift in the Twitch chat says slavery doesn't sound like a polite thing to do, to be honest. Yeah. No, I think that might be an understatement.
Next up is Jefferson versus Andrew Jackson. I'm Andrew Jackson every day of the week here. So you guys,
no, I think just on both bad guys, both evil people, but like Jackson has the Riz, Jackson has the aura.
All right, let's be clear about this. Jackson was a thug and a brute. Jefferson at least had the outer trappings of gentlemanliness, and he made some serious intellectual and rhetorical contributions to the English language and to American culture broadly. Yes, he was absolutely depraved when it came to the sexual predation that he had over his slaves. His relationship with Sally Hemings, I mean, that seems like an entire mess, a whole can of worms. Don't need to go into it. Guy was a slave or a bad dude. Andrew Jackson, however, also did a genocide on top of everything else. I would lean towards Jefferson. However, he did my boy Kościuszko wrong. Fucked with his will. You do not do that to a Polish hero. So, Andrew Jackson.
Jackson, I think, just by force of waving the military wand around in people's faces. What are you going to do to stop me?
Yeah, I mean, he slumped on South Carolina. Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah. That's enough for me to give it to him.
He really was an excellent mask off for the fundamentals of American democracy, right? Like, you think it's going to be norms? Fuck your norms. But also, you think you can succeed? Fuck you, I have a Navy.
Yeah.
Benjamin Harrison versus Woodrow Wilson. I'm easy Woodrow Wilson here.
Yeah. Wilson.
Yeah. Like, 0 beats every negative number, but positive numbers are possible.
Mm-hmm.
Theodore Roosevelt versus Harry S. Truman.
I mean, this is Roosevelt.
Yeah, it's Roosevelt.
Okay.
I think we maybe should have done like some power rankings on these before, so we had better seeds. So it would have gotten more interesting as it went on.
I like the round. Well, they will get. I think it's just the second round.
No, you're right.
Once we get into the third round, into the round of 8, I think we're getting serious. Eisenhower versus Bobby Bush.
This is a real challenge for me. I almost feel compelled to abstain because it's deep state on deep state.
Yeah.
Although Eisenhower gave that cook-ass speech at the end warning against the military-industrial complex. What the fuck is that about?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like having remorse at the end about your legacy and being like giving a good speech, but also that's like I was kind of a failure,
bro.
Like dropping the kayfabe at the end. Ike, I'm sorry, you got to give it to the proper deep state monster.
Ride or die.
The Kenny,
the Kennedy killer.
The Kennedy killer did horrible, unspeakable things to Geronimo's skull. Got to give it to the Bush.
I'm gonna give a Eisenhower pity point, but I'll put Bush through. Hoover versus Quincy Adams.
I've made my case for Hoover. It's for me, it's Hoover.
And his case remains persuasive for me. Like Quincy Adams, he certainly edges out Taft in my books, but after that spirited advocacy in the previous round, like I am staying with Hoover. And maybe the only president who could possibly kill Hoover was FDR, right?
Hayes versus Clinton.
Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton. I mean, they're both actually shitty in kindred ways.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Bill Clinton kind of ended the Reconstruction aspects of the U.S. welfare state. But, saxophone.
All right. Madison or Washington?
Madison or Washington?
Yeah, come on, right?
It's Washington.
It's Washington.
I mean,
it's
the thing is,
we're great that Curacao made it this far in the tournament. But
we're passing Washington so easy here. I'm worried that he's going to just go straight sweep. But okay.
I don't know. I think it's going to get competitive.
The thing about Washington is that, like, if we're evaluating U.S. presidents, the terms on which we evaluate U.S. presidents were kind of set by Washington.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens next because I have a feeling it's going to be Andrew Jackson here. And Andrew Jackson, in a lot of ways, is the anti-Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So Jackson versus Wilson, I think it's interesting because they're both kind of like, they're the top two racist progressives presidents. Widely despised by leftists. They're probably the most hated on, their delta between how good they were as presidents and how hated they are on by leftists. They're probably the top two in that regard. But I mean, you've heard my opinions on Jackson. I'm still backing Jackson. I quite like Wilson. Yeah, I forgot his name for a second, but I'm still backing Jackson.
Yeah, I think Jackson is Jackson is like the. He's the id of America. He is really the behind all of the parliamentary procedures and the pretty classical columns and all of the fucking marble that you want. He is what America really is, which is just
America as force.
Yeah. Behind all of the fancy clothes and the posturing. We're a lot of big guns.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the positive case for Wilson would be in this context. In fact, right, in Andrew Jackson, we have found the person who's wait, you want self-determination for white people? Oh, no, fuck that. There's self-determination for one white person.
Roosevelt versus Bobby Bush.
Now we're getting fun.
Yeah, spicy. It's funny because I feel like George H.W. Bush actually had the career that Teddy Roosevelt wanted. He was doing national greatness imperialism from the very get-go. He didn't have to get a bunch of loser volunteers to ride up San Juan Hill. None of that garbage. Right?
I know, but I
think that doing it was the point.
That Bush is a bit bloodless,
I think that for Teddy, part of the allure of empire was that you got to be the one riding up the hill with your fucking buddies. That and you got to do the kind of I just reread Blood Meridian, so I'm thinking of just horrible, senseless violence on the frontier.
Yeah, retail imperialism.
There's a
which is nice if you're Portugal and all. Okay?
A wrong space in the hearts of of men. Roosevelt saw that and wanted to turn it into some grander project, and he got to do it on his own terms and largely successfully, while also being able to indulge his like environmentalism and like his like love of poetry or whatever. I have a hard time not voting for.
I see what you're saying, but my loyalties, my
Teddy Roosevelt wanted to be Toad Vine. Yeah,
remain with the deep state apparatus and the systems man.
I would expect nothing less from you.
I'm going to give it to Roosevelt.
Okay.
Hoover versus Clinton. So this is a question of how much can Riz take you versus how much can revisionist history take you?
Well, the thing is that the revisionist history on Clinton, right? Like, I would argue that in many ways his presidency was significantly more disastrous than Hoover's, because Hoover mismanaged an economic catastrophe that wasn't his doing, whereas the economic catastrophe that we're living in right now is largely attributable to Clinton.
Not Bush.
Well, Clinton, Reagan, Bush a little bit.
Well, you go from Reagan reduces the administrative state and rebalances the tax system to empower ultra wealthy people. Bush actually doesn't seem to care that much about domestic politics. Clinton then takes what he's inherited from Reagan and super empowers them and basically hands over all economic decision making to the New York financial elite.
No.
And
I mean, it's Reagan Clinton is really the 1-2 punch that neoliberalism needs to land its final victory.
Yeah, and W. Bush just gives away a whole bunch of public money back into private hands, but that's in many ways the last and least consequential step, even though it precipitates, right? It creates the structural deficit, explodes the debt, and ultimately leads, he's the one holding the bag in 2008.
No.
This is going to be, I think this is on our kind of March on Rome level kind of thing of us having Hoover in the top 4.
This is really hard for me because as much as I love revisionist history, there is like a Clinton that does feel like that's also really an emblematic American president. The combination of like an aw shucks faux populism with like a ruthless elitism while also being interpersonally a rapist. Clinton feels very American in that way as well.
Wasn't he like the last guy to get white Southerners to vote for the woke party?
That's true.
Well, obviously, in a three-way split election.
Yeah. I mean, without Perot, he probably wouldn't have rated. Did Clinton eat children? I mean, the fact that we're posing that question.
Yeah, I mean, like, probably not himself. He's that seems like a really like upper elite taste, and I don't know that Clinton was really like ever wealthy enough to really develop it.
I mean, Epstein Island, though, man.
Yeah,
I think Clinton was an enjoyer of adult women.
Yeah, no, I think that Clinton was like a
the question is
and a horrible person, but like I don't know if he was really into kids.
Use a numbers and letters said, Bill Clinton starved 1 million Iraqi children. If you give it to Hoover, they died for nothing.
It's funny because Hoover is credited with the not starvation of millions of European children.
It's true. The thing about that is that, as we have discussed previously, you get points for your presidency and less for your pre-presidency or post-presidency work. And if we're cutting out all of the pre-presidency, expertise and cunning, and the post-presidency influence on academia, I think you got to give it to Clinton. I think that Clinton comes away with my vote, or I have to give it to Clinton at least.
Kuba, what's your vote?
One of the first university events I attended as an undergraduate was a speech by Bill Clinton. And he came across, and I was an insufferable freshman at the time, but he came across as a real hippie lightweight to me intellectually. And looking at his policy legacy, as well as the template of Clinton Foundation, laundering oligarch money, become a billionaire that way, post-president trajectory that he really pioneered, because H.W. Bush didn't do that, Reagan didn't do that. That wasn't a thing. When Jimmy Carter wanted a legacy after his presidency, he built homes for Habitat for Humanity. Bill Clinton didn't do that. He did the exact opposite. Him and Tony Blair were busy, continuing to despoil the world in their off time. So I feel as though it's a little like my vote on Trump. Numbers get negative, and Trump got there through sheer incompetence, and Bill Clinton got there through depraved indifference to the consequences, not only for humanity as a whole and the most vulnerable people on earth, which is, let's face it, table stakes for US presidents, but for depraved indifference for the welfare of the United States as a great power and American people, American citizens themselves. I cannot vote for Clinton. I'm going for Hoover.
Quinn, you going Clinton?
I'm going Clinton.
I am going to go Clinton very reluctantly, but just because of the matchup. We're on to the final four. And first, we have the good Roman consul versus the first real American president. The first American president of the masses, of the people, who is American in the way, we're not LARP and Rome anymore. This is an American president.
As much as I am want to give the lofty ideals and the the legacy, the statesmanship, the gravitas of our founding father, the one whom all of these people are trying to measure up to. This is what America really is.
I feel like the truth is presidents after Jackson aren't trying to be Washington. Almost, I don't think any of them are trying to be Washington. I think they're all
except maybe Obama.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think that after Jackson, it shows that Washington is a mask. It is a persona that you wear, but it's not real. like all of the norms and all of the, you know, the facade that you're putting on, we all know that it's not real. We all know that it's fake. Jackson is proof of that.
User dash CF3CM5BT5V again has a valuable contribution here. Washington has to get dinged for warning against parties in his parting speech, and then all his people go on to form parties, which I just reinforces what you're saying with the whole mask off element.
Well, with Andrew Jackson, he was like, form parties, win. And then the next three guys were like his guys who formed parties and won.
I mean, like, yeah. I'm sorry, George. You've got a very nice home.
Washington's up the road from me. Are we going 3-0 for Andrew Jackson?
I find it difficult to disagree with what Quinn was putting down here. I think that Andrew Jackson revealed how American presidencies and how the American system actually works, and probably what doomed Barack Obama was that he was trying to live up to the yardstick. And this is a classic outsider trap, right? Like he's like, Obama is like the American Gorbachev, if you think about it, right? He goes through the meritocratic gates. So he ascends bloodlessly, essentially, to the presidency. He's always doing what he's told a president is supposed to do. And as a result, he never learns what it is that presidents actually do. So when it comes time for him to govern, he's governing with the official playbook instead of the real one that's at the bottom of the Resolute desk, right? Like stained with some human hair and matted blood from the last victim of Andrew Jackson, right? And if that's the case, right, like, I'm not happy about it, but the question isn't who's your favorite president. The question is who has that greatness element, who gets America right. And Andrew Jackson more than George Washington. He's the president that they deserve.
Fuck South Carolina, 3-0. Bottom of the bracket now, Theodore Roosevelt versus Bill Clinton. I think Bill Clinton has had an incredibly fucking easy run.
Yeah.
And I think Roosevelt clears him every day.
Yeah, Teddy clears. Also, as Soon was saying, I think we get extra points for musical influence. We get the DMX Rough Riders.
True.
And it's a bit of a, you know, like musical, like game of telephone, but I think Teddy Roosevelt gets points for DMX.
Yeah, I mean, I was voting Hoover over Clinton, so with the the galaxy level Chad that is Theodore Roosevelt, I would like to see those two guys do the cage match for the 250th of the United States. That would have been an event on the White House lawn.
Oh yeah.
And then we have managed to produce what I think is a very interesting final. I don't think I can get them both on the fucking screen, but we've got Andrew Jackson versus Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh Jesus.
Oh fuck. Oh Jesus. Hey, so the bracket worked, right? Like this is, yeah.
And I think it's a really fun one because I think in some ways they're quite similar in the sense that they are progressives for their time, but they are also like American presidents. They're imperialists. They're guys that wanna kill. They wanna expand.
absolutely comfortable with violence.
Teddy obviously
revel in the
more
violence.
LARPer than Jackson, but I think Teddy also gets a lot of points for self-overcoming. Like Jackson was always just what he was meant to be. He was just.
He doesn't have an arc. There's no like. He's not a well-written character in that, like, he just kind of shows up as himself, fully formed and ready to, quash all of his enemies.
Yeah, he hatched out of an alligator egg that was incubated by, James Calhoun and the Witchfinder General, and burst from it, Kane first, ready to smite all around him. Whereas Roosevelt, he went on a freaking hero's journey.
I say this, but in the end, I am still going to back Jackson for just establishing mass democracy not just in the United States, but just generally as a concept. Obviously, it was like kind of becoming a thing in the United Kingdom at the same time, but I think Jackson is the real one on that basis.
This is a real Alien versus Predator type situation.
Connor, let's credit the guy, right? Like, nailed it.
Connor hit the nail on the head. They both are like, really quintessentially American.
Yeah, it feels actually as though what the brackets are doing haven't been establishing winners, but identifying the two breeding mates that need to produce. This is how you get the ultimate American, right? The quintessence, the highest form. You need to shave some of the optimism from Teddy Roosevelt, but you also need to give Andrew Jackson an arc, right?
So what we're saying is, if you are a fan fiction writer, we need slash fiction of Andrew Jackson.
I mean, I think it's also true that Trump is like a really pale imitation of a combination of these two guys.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he is the what's after the Iron Age, right? Because gold, silver, bronze. There's a mud age, right? He's the mud age, Andrew Jackson.
Queen of the Stone Age.
They are like, it is really whether or not like you like it's like it's the difference between like nihilism and existentialism. Like they both really do believe that there's no real higher meaning. Like that's all bullshit. All this fucking higher power. Like no, it's about your guns. It's about who's got more horses. At the end of the day, do you have the horses?
Yeah.
But Jackson is like, okay, we're just going to do what it requires to take power. And Roosevelt is like, yeah, it's all bullshit. I'm going to like believe in my poems anyway, even though it's not really like I care about it. So I'm going to make it happen, even if it's not, the driving force behind the things.
Perhaps this is the difference between the two, picking up on what you said. Both of them understand that everything in politics begins and ends with power. But Teddy Roosevelt has an answer to the question of what is the power for. Andrew Jackson does not.
Well, Andrew Jackson's answer is the power. It's there for itself.
It's more, right? Exactly.
Like
South Carolina.
Bringing it back to the Judge Holden, war is God.
Yes.
Nullify the nullifiers.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that Roosevelt, right, has a creative vision that goes beyond that. And shockingly, unlike say Pol Pot, right, that vision isn't inherently hideous or so unattainable as to lead to hideous consequences. I'm talking myself into Teddy Roosevelt. Like,
it's shocking how similar they are when we're thinking about it in this framework.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great that we managed to get them to as the final.
It was inevitable, right? I don't.
Well, no, because they could have ended up on the same side of the bracket, right? And ended up going, like, they could have ended up in the quarters against each other, whatever.
Then the entire show would have been that matchup in the very first round.
We would spend like an hour on that.
And then at the end again, it's just just rapid fire.
3-0, 3-0, 3-0.
No, I think that the randomized bracket worked pretty well for us, surprisingly. God, this is fucking hard. I think that I want to get chat how you're feeling on this vote.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. We're going to admit
I think I've got
the Andrew Jackson democracy debate.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, if we let chat vote, then we have to let Andrew Jackson win. But
I don't know. I don't think that we actually give them like a binding vote. This is not like they don't get real input.
They do and try and work out what they think is cool.
This is like the UN. Like they get to vote, but like we don't care what they say.
But we're the Security Council. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, George Washington wins. Poppy Bush wins.
Damn.
This is going Jackson because fuck South Carolina. Dream, I believe, is suggesting Andrew Jackson. That's a bit of an ambiguous statement, but I think it is. Droga's on Jackson. Obviously, some people earlier on were saying like that Jackson should be taken out in the first round because he's like an evil imperialist. But I think those people were probably put off by by our video and not remained until now. So yeah, if we believe in democracy, I think Jackson wins it, but we don't believe in democracy, so.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus. I think as evil as I think America is, as much as I like, like this is like the fucking, like this is waking up in the Black Pearl and seeing the moonlight hit them, and Jackson is realizing that this thing that's standing in front of you, that you were sitting down to have dinner with, is just death incarnate. And Roosevelt is like, yes, it's fucking evil and depraved and murderous, but like
national parks.
There's an appreciation for the sublime that as a literary man I am subject to, despite its lack of grounding as a good materialist. I think it is unmaterialist, and goes against my proper grounding as a realist. But like there's a romantic place on my heart, a wrong surface in my heart that cannot face the truth of the country, and I have to go towards Roosevelt.
Okay, so that would mean I'm voting for Jackson.
Wait,
voting for Roosevelt, and Kuba has the deciding vote.
Yeah, there's been a late bribe. Apparently, I can get honorary Poljabwe status for voting for Jackson, so I'm going to do that.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I think it is fitting for Roosevelt to go almost all the way and then be outvoted because of
petty corruption.
That feels nice and true to me.
I think Roosevelt also gets points for trying to go for a third term.
True. Yeah. The most American president, Andrew Jackson.
Congratulations to Jackson. Congratulations to all of us for getting through this. It'd be interesting if we do the one again, if we do like seeded brackets. But I think for going just pure randomness, I think that produced the downside to it was the Clinton run, where he had like no opposition at all. But in putting Roosevelt, Teddy, and Jackson on opposite sides of the bracket, I think that was a very, very good run. I think the Jackson versus Washington face-off was also very, very good. So I'd be interested to know if we do future, if we do seed brackets.
I think you're sleeping on the Roosevelt bracket because he went through against a whole bunch of heavyweights of the deep state and U.S. imperialism. I'm talking H.W. Bush, Dwight D. Eisenhower was in there, Truman, right?
Yeah.
Plus, it gave us the problematic humiliation of first round eliminated Barack Obama, right? Clinton makes it to the semis, and Obama doesn't even make it out of group.
So who got the most 3-0s? So Hoover got 2 3-0s. Clinton got 2 3-0s. Roosevelt got 3 3-0s. Jackson got 1, 2, 3. 3. I think 3 is going to be the most, unless George Washington somehow got 4.
Is there a way to sum up the points?
No, I don't think that's a. I think if I had it on a different bracket type over here on the left, if I had it on like group stage or whatever, but I think that would have, it would have been complicated. But you don't, as England proved yesterday, you don't get a lot more points for scoring more goals. The fact that England scored 6 yesterday is not going to defeat Spain scoring 1 today.
It's speaking of the World Cup, it is still 0-0.
It is 0-0 over there, and you are glad you watched this show instead.
Yeah, I mean, it's Spain versus Argentina. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
this is like when I don't know, like Franco and Mussolini are fighting each other. Like, who cares?
I just hope Argentina's out there committing fouls.
Sure. I mean, yeah. If to quote Henry Kissinger, it's only a shame they can't both lose.
Obama got 0 points. He tied with James Buchanan, Franklin Pierce, John Adams, James K. Polk, William McKinley, John Tyler, Grover Cleveland, Joe Biden, and James Monroe. We could use this as marketing for the alt-right white supremacist set.
Let's go.
Like,
sure.
Let's see if we can flip the horseshoe for some people.
I think that our show and our opinions are definitely gonna be able to hold the the white supremacist bracket for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that if anything, our fucking literacy is gonna drive them away.
Oh, yeah. Plus they'll be really weirded out by they're talking so much shit about Andrew Jackson. Like, every single time his name comes up, it's like he's the worst guy ever, and then they give him full points and they pass him along.
Yeah, we're just vice signaling out here. Any bracket or tier list or similar kind of activity that you guys are excited by the idea of?
I think
that we could do pretentious books.
The problem with doing any kind of media is that if we're not going to do it in a bullshit way, it requires us to
bring out my
to read them all, right? So
yeah.
Otherwise, we're doing a tier list or a bracket or whatever of books we haven't read. Because probably there aren't 32 books that all of us have read just generally.
I don't know if that's true.
Okay, but like, if we're not counting like science textbooks and like Harry Potter.
Okay, so I think that this is an empirical question, and we should both produce we can compare lists, and we can do that offline. What I was thinking, and the chat is going in a similar direction, is wartime leaders. So not all American, but some American. You know, FDR, Woodrow Wilson would clearly make the cut. We could throw in Donald Trump in order to make it topical, but also figures like Charles de Gaulle, Kaiser Wilhelm, Kemal Atatürk, pick a bunch of other ones, and then we nerd out on whether they did the best that they could, whether they're failures, whether they underperformed, you know.
Ooh,
more of this.
Having Zelensky and Putin on there would be great fun.
Bingo.
Would you want to do that as a tier list or as a bracket?
I think that might be fun as a bracket. Or I mean, tier list could be fun too. The thing is,
bracket. I think it works better for a bracket. I think the books work better as a tier list.
Books work great as a tier list. I'm just thinking, like, if we're counting wartime leaders, where do we put Genghis? Does that count? Or do we have to like nerf our list by not having?
Yeah, like is the Black Prince on there? Or are we doing
like Mehmed the Conqueror?
Are we doing post-Napoleonic leaders?
Okay, each of us picks 2 goats that get ascended to a higher plateau.
That's the problem is, right, that if we're allowed anyone from history, I'm just going to pick Alexander, and I'm going to shout for Alexander just every round, every second.
Yeah. Which is why my
not him. Like, it'll be fucking like Churchill versus Petain, and I'll be like, Alexander the Great wins.
Yeah, which is why
my favorite Macedonian.
Which is why the 2 that I would disqualify are Genghis Khan and Alexander the Great.
Yeah, like it'd be Alexander the Great versus Napoleon, and I'd be like crying, but Alexander.
Weeping, just like Alexander, after there were no worlds left to conquer.
All right, so your like top 2 is like we give them like honorary stats, we give them goat stats at the start, but then they're not included in the tier list. That was your point.
Yes, precisely.
Okay, right. So we each get 2 that we can eliminate from the list.
Yeah, and it's not a list. It's not a tier list. It's a bracket.
It's a bracket.
Right?
Cool.
It's a bracket. If it were a tier list, then of course we could just put a god tier for those guys. But
obviously today, this is an interesting question we should probably talk about before we finish. I excluded FDR, Lincoln, and Grant. If they
for being too good,
and JFK
for being too dead,
because he got his brains blown out.
Yeah.
I mean, for the full list of excluded presidents, we have FDR, Lincoln, Grant, Harrison, Taylor, Garfield, Harding, Kennedy, Tyler, Fillmore, Johnson, Arthur, and Ford.
And we have another proposal, fictional bad guys. That might be a decent bracket as well.
Yeah, because I think if we're going to move into media, it would have to be stuff which is, and the problem for me with media stuff is there's something we can talk about. It's only going to be like super popular media for us to have a shared perspective on it, which I'm not terribly enthusiastic about. And also, I guess, as doing fictional bad guys would be limited to kind of like leaders, like evil leaders, like fictional evil leaders, or can serial killers get on the bracket?
Unless
MT's enjoying the shirt.
Nice. Good shirt.
Someone's saying Darth Vader would be the GOAT, and Darth Vader is definitely not the GOAT of villains at all. Like, first off, at the end, he goes back to the heroes. Second off, he was not even the main villain in that in those films. He was like the actual villain's enforcer.
But
he was the Reinhard Heydrich.
Yeah.
Villains within their work, like you can count Darth Vader as the villain of like A New Hope and maybe Empire. And I think he's a pretty good villain in those. Like that could be interesting. There was one.
Some people were saying like a war tier list or something like this, but then the question is like, what the fuck are we ranking it on?
Awesome.
Military innovations. No, Kuba,
Uniforms.
I really like the military leader idea.
Military leader could be pretty good. There's another one that just came to mind and I lost it.
I am willing.
Run through recent topics, Quinn. Try and jog your memory. We just want Vader.
If I am presented with a Google spreadsheet or something similar and asked to fill in books or characters or anything within a category, that really scratches my autism. So I'm happy to do that. Just serve it up to me and you'll get your raw data.
What's that document called? Is it something ideas?
I think it's show ideas. But I mean, I'd be happy to dip back into the asswife pot. Do some good old Thrones commentary. No, I remember we should do a I think it would work better as a tier list, but like historical conspiracy theories or like pseudo architecture historical quackery
there's
some fun ones that we can there was one that I saw that was really fun
Lost Continents.
The Odyssey is actually an encoding of earlier oral traditions that tell of the true discovering of North America hundreds of years earlier by proto-Greeks.
By Charlie Kirk and Jeffrey Epstein.
Exactly. Time traveling Charlie Kirk and Jeffrey Epstein.
Arartha is here.
Which there is some fun, like weird historical, like what if they went through this channel and like those like dog-headed beasts in the whirling the bay with the whirlpool sure sound a lot like northern Canada and all of the
First Nations people, right?
Yeah, like there's some weird.
I've been really gripped by the ones that flat top mountains are actually trees.
Oh, like they're like ancient giant petrified trees.
Or the mud flood and Great Tatari conspiracy theories. The missing Middle Ages. Right?
Yeah. There's the Tatarian ones I find really annoying because they're literally just based off like people being like, here be dragons on a map, and these people are like, fuck, here be dragons.
Well, and the thing is too that the Tartars are people, right? Like,
they're real.
You can meet their descendants. They also weren't great.
There's also, I think, like historical conspiracy theories, like the mound builder genocide. This was a great historical thing that's like no one really thinks about anymore, but like this was part of the long history of American obsession with conspiracy theories, that there was a North American empire that built they're referred to as the mound builders. There's like evidence of like pre-Columbian giant cities that have these like big mounds that they're mostly Mississippi Basin civilizations. There's some existence. They had large cities. The cities fell apart. We don't have a lot of information about why they fell apart. But there was a conspiracy theory that has very little evidence that was popular in the 18th century that the current Native Americans were responsible for the genocide of the previous mound builder civilization, and so it's okay that we genocide them and take their land because actually they're responsible for a previous genocide a couple hundred years earlier, or maybe hundreds of years earlier, and so
they had it coming.
Actually, they have it coming. All of our genocide is totally fine because you know, one genocide makes another one okay.
I really like, this isn't a conspiracy theory, but I really like the fact that Native Americans had horses and then like they went extinct. And then they got horses again and they were instantly like, these things are fucking sick.
That like basically all of the horses on the American continent come from like Spaniards losing track of their horses and then them getting out and breeding like wild because
there was an article which
the
said
Mustangs.
Like, the Native Americans having horses before European contact, whatever. But what the article actually meant was there were tribes that hadn't contacted Europeans, but had just horses flowing from Europeans into their areas. And so they met horses again before they met Europeans. It's fun.
Yeah. And then sort of one bracket head to head would be great horse peoples.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's a good one.
Mongols have to just get a free pass again.
Disagree.
Are the Mongols not the Ur horse people?
Legacy? Sorry?
Are the Mongols not the Ur horse guys?
Oh no. You go all the way back to the Scythians. And the Scythians were feminist and awesome. They were based.
Yeah. Compared to in legacy terms, the Scythians are obviously clear.
Fine.
The Scythians are also really fun, as Kuba mentioned, for being, we only have serious archaeological evidence for like women warriors. I mean, very, very, very few cultures, but there is significant evidence in those. So much so that when I looked at it, I just didn't believe it initially until I was really convinced. But of course, that's because they were a severely slave aristocratic society, which is the only time in pre-modernity women had significant status. When you have like a monogamous slaver aristocratic society where like free noble women, because of the free and the noble bit, have such high status comparatively that they end up in a strong position.
My understanding was quite different. That it had to do, it did not have to do at all with slavery and hierarchy component, because you have, like, the Greeks were also hierarchical slavers, right, which enforced monogamy for property distribution. I'm not even sure that the Scythians enforced monogamy, to be honest.
It was like the Romans were obsessed with monogamy and were also massive misogynists.
My understanding is that it was entirely, along good Marxist lines, a material issue, which is if you're fighting from horseback and mobility is the key to your army, and other people don't have the stirrup or composite bows to leverage male upper body strength from horseback, then a lower weight woman who can fire a short bow from a horse is actually an extremely formidable and valuable military asset, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just in pre-modernity, there's like a massive opportunity cost to not having your women be pregnant. And having the warriors not only normally prevents that, but also leads them to die. But the Scythians could have been in a position where they were having like really low casualties comparatively.
Well, that's the thing too. One of their greatest military triumphs had to do with repelling Greek invasion by just the Fabian technique, just retreating further and further and further, and until the Greeks ran out of food and turned around.
There's a great game which you two will never play, called Europa Barbarium 2, which is a modification for various Total War games, but also has, like, obviously Total War games are incredibly unrealistic, but this was a serious effort to make them realistic, and it's very, very cool. But yeah, we should leave it there and stop for today. And we'll be coming back with some epic tier lists and brackets in the future. Quinn?
I think another thing I want to throw on the list of lists here is that a tier list of alternate histories could be a lot of fun.
And I actually am quite familiar with that sort of thing, so we could go right. MT has said best empire collapses. Comment below, like and subscribe. Comment your upcoming favorite tier list or bracket. Subscribe to the Patreon and give Jason money so that I can so that MT and me can simultaneously be admins on the StreamYard all at once.
Also, if you're in New York City on the 25th, come out to Varn's book launch. Should be fun.
Verily. Goodbye, everyone.
Start eating that trash can.
I already am eating from the trash can all the time.